All clear. Pardon me.
Oh, right, the part where I turn my microphone on. Also useful. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Gaming with Doug. I hope you all had a great weekend. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we're back.
Charming, aren't we?
Blah, 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 blah. Gonna be doing a bit more grinding. Let's see. Currently, getting Setzer leveled up as much as possible because, Setzer is Setzer and he has the fixed dice, and with that, and between that and the Master Scroll, he's just, like, hitting everything. Locke, we're keeping in the party because he can steal nice things like ribbons from the Brachiosaurs. Currently leveling up Shadow and Mog for Espers and just basic levels in general. I tried putting Mog in the Imp outfit, and I think he needs to be leveled up a bit more before it would be actually useful. So, in the meantime, I'm just having him do basic heal bot stuff. And Shadow is just going all Fuma Shuriken on everyone.
I can't remember that bit.
Which bit?
The thing about the Imp armor.
I was trying that out during some of the off-screen grinding over the last week. It's kind of adorable. There's the slight downside that you can't equip him with a ribbon while he's in Imp status, because that'll just undo the Imp.
Yeah.
Which means that, of course, Brachiosaur's disaster attack is particularly devastating. Yeah. However, the Imp sprite is kind of adorable.
It's a shame the only cheat I know, the Vanish sketch cheat, doesn't exist anymore.
Oh crap, that's a meteor.
Your game is not currently streaming. We just got your background from the opera scene right now.
Doggone it, thank you. Get that back on there. Why am I so inaccurate with a mouse? Anyway. Here we go. So yeah, that's been my week. Oh, right. So there we go. Anyway, I hope you all had a pretty decent Easter. I spent most of mine unconscious.
Were you ill?
No, I just lazy.
Sometimes that's good. The best
Yeah.
thing you can do with your time sometimes is nothing.
Yeah, it was like, you know, I get this text from my parents all like, hey, we're enjoying the sun and sand on the Outer Banks. And I'm like, I'm enjoying the shade of my bedroom. But, you know, you know, nothing against the holiday, I just, you know, no kids to be all like, hey, let's do an egg thing. And also, same thing with my roommates, to be honest. Not to mention, 2 of them work night shift, so it's not like they would have really wanted to be awake during the day to be like, yes, let us continue this.
If the Easter Bunny's here before noon, he can fuck off.
Yeah, it's like, they get home around like 7:38 in the morning, so it's like, yeah, if the Easter Bunny shows up, we will have,
Hey.
you know, we will have a loaded shotgun ready at the door.
Oh, God. I used to have some friends in town, and occasionally I would stay so late that I would just crash on their couch until the next morning.
Oh yeah.
They had this guy. He was a loser. Okay, I'm gonna be straight honest with you.
Okay.
He got about 4 months behind on his rent, and he effed off up to Edmonton and made sure that nobody would speak to them anymore.
Sweet Ghibli Hills.
Yeah, but one of the things he would do is he worked at a 7-Eleven, and okay, this is the only sympathy I have for the guy, is he got robbed at knife point by a guy. They caught him, they let him go, he got robbed by the same guy again within 3 weeks.
Oh, jeepers.
Yeah.
Okay,
it wasn't the best place, but he always worked the night shift, so if I'm sleeping over because it's way too fucking late to walk home, he would get in at about 7, 8 in the morning. And he would turn on the game system. That's fine, you know, it's your house, you want to play games, that's fine. But then he would want to tell me all these random facts about the Gundam-based Dynasty Warriors game he's playing. And I'm like, dude, I was fast asleep. I don't care.
Oh, yeah, that's always...
And it would never... Yeah, he was one of those clueless people where if the conversation isn't about what he wants, he'll drive it there. And if there isn't a conversation, he'll make one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like... And I hate him because he reminded me of me when I was younger.
Yep. So I haven't been to Dragon's Den yet. It's, the main issue is I still have a few dragons to defeat, and I'm kind of leaving the blue dragon off until we, get everybody with Meteor from Odin. Speaking of Meteor, oh crap. But yeah, I can totally commiserate on the being woken up by inconsiderate host thing.
Oh, well, he wasn't there when I started, but still, you know, you come into someone passed out on the fucking couch.
Yeah.
You don't crank up the volume on a war game and then try to educate them.
Yeah, in my case, same thing with the gaming group, just, you know, showing up and being like, blur. Let's see, let's give you Odin, and you are still working on Ragnarok. So... Oh, right, because I had you equipped with the Paladin's Shield. Okay.
Did you finally uncurse that shield?
Yes!
I missed that because I was working.
Paladin's Shield. Wondrous shield that blocks a variety of attacks and also teaches Ultima at 1x.
The shield teaches Ultima?
Yep.
Dang.
Which means I can actually swap Ragnarok for... let's give him Bahamut.
Or you can just double up and get the job done quicker.
Either way. But yeah, like, group of friends I was in, nice people and everything for the most part, it's just one of them kind of didn't really understand personal cues very much.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'd realize it was like 3 or 4 in the morning and be like, well, is it okay if I stay here? And they're like, sure, and I fall asleep on the couch, and the one person who's a morning person shows up at 7 and is like, hey, let's talk about the psychological issues left over from my parents. And I'm like, why?
I mean, literally at one case, I sat up and I said to this guy straight up, and you know what? I'm gonna name names because I doubt anybody knows them. It's just like, Silk Paws, listen to me carefully. Gundam, I don't fucking care. Enjoy your game. I don't want to know anything about it. That lasted about 2.5 minutes.
You tried.
Yeah. There was an attempt.
Yeah, shiny foil gold star attempt was made.
Tinfoil gold star.
But yeah, it was just kind of like... I would have been a lot more helpful if they hadn't also, you know, turned on the light and left it on when walking back out of the room, and I'm like...
Dude, what?
I know, right?
Were y'all raised in a barn? Nope, don't ask that question, that'll get him talking.
Well, like I said, large amounts of, you know, talking about backstory and issues from their parents, so, you know. If not a barn, then possibly a backstage dressing room, I don't know.
Why do you do this to me?
Which part am I doing to you?
Just the jokes.
Alright. Let's see, Tigna wants to know if I want to hear all about the backstory and lore that he's kept locked in his brain about World of Warcraft.
Yeah, well, trust me, Tigma, you would not rouse someone from a stone sleep to make them look at the TV and explain what's going on. It's like, I am paying no attention. I really care that little.
Yeah, I tried to play World of Warcraft once.
It's gotten a lot better, but now it's just, you know, I can't play it without the one friend who mentored me dragging me back onto my mage. I don't get to be anything else.
Yeah, in my case, I just got motion sick after, like, a few minutes. I am really bad with any of those 3D first or third person games.
The thing that drove me really nuts about it was my first couple of attempts, it was always the same thing. Oh, I'll come help you out next level. But back those days, next level when you were up there took 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've got no one to play with, I don't care anymore. It's like, one of my friends got me into Final Fantasy 14, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting and stuff, but I've been on the game for 2 months and we've played 3 times.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so it's just not my thing. I'll take one of the freebie games I still have, like Guild Wars 2 or what is it? Or Champions Online. I'm a big sucker for that. Good God,
nice.
I'm an alcoholic on that.
Yeah, I
You would
lasted
love
a
my
few-
Uncle Danny then, Techna, because he literally has 2 different drives he pulls in and out of his laptop. One of them is Windows-based for certain tasks, and one of them is his preferred one in Linux.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Hey, he flies down here from Nova Scotia to upgrade my other uncle's business servers because, you know, my uncle won't trust anyone else.
Well, hey,
'Cause
that's
let's face
impressive.
Let's face it, if a family member tells you you need this, you know you're not being taken for a ride.
Most family members.
Well, yeah, well,
Sorry.
Uncle Danny was their sysadmin until he moved across the country.
Okay.
So yeah, he knows how that system works. He knows how that system should work, and he knows exactly what it needs to work.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Does bring
Did
me back
Cesar
to
just take care of him all by himself?
pretty much.
Dang. Shit, son.
Like,
Why
when
aren't you
he's-
switching out those mastered magicites on them?
Oh,
Or have
because
they learned everything?
they kind of have.
Oh.
So I'm boosting Setzer's speed at the moment. Let's take a look at status, in fact. Yeah, pushing his speed up a bit, because that's kind of his big thing. Since he's using the fixed dice, which pretty much goes off of just his, level, I don't really need to boost his strength all that much. So I'm just making him as fast as possible so he can just keep, rolling exploding dice as much as possible. And then Locke, I'm doing stamina boosting, because, I mean, look at his strength. It's already kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that's nuts for a thief. Sorry, treasure hunter.
He's sort of gone from sneaky steal the clothes to straight up give me my money.
Bitch better have my money. I never actually focused on tweaking things like that. Like when I played 8, I never did the devour trick or any of that, or watched the strength bonus on level up, because I was like, my magic will cover that.
Admittedly, I never actually tried doing the devour trick now that I think on it.
Plus, I was far too interested in learning all the cool shit and getting all the items, because I had a little guide to 8, so I knew what was coming. That's why, people hate 8, because the story is not stellar. Let's be totally real.
I kind of like it.
But my favorite thing about it is customization. And they did it so right, because usually you play certain RPGs and that skill you really, really want is at the end of a chain of 5 or 6 that you wouldn't use if the game made you.
Yeah.
know, like they made it necessary for a dungeon. That's the only time you frickin' use it. But with Final Fantasy VIII, everything you want is behind 2 or 3 skills that will be useful and that you will enjoy on the way.
Yeah. See, the thing I like with 8 is that it is kind of a, if you look at it as a deconstruction of all those kid soldier gonna save the world tropes,
Yep.
then it kind of makes a bit more sense, because it's like, oh, yeah, they are hilariously broken from being war orphans.
Yeah, and Squall is acting the way he thinks an adult should.
Mm-hmm.
He's very much an enormous child.
He's like, cool adults kind of shrug and go, whatever, when people try to come to them with their feelings. That's what I saw in the movies. And then all of a sudden he's like, stop referring to Setzer! Stop referring to Safer in past tense! Ah! And it's like, wait, what? And it's like, you kind of realize why he does it, and at the same time you're just like, okay.
I remember the first time I read the script to 8, because I did not understand understand that there was more than one definition of romantic.
Ah.
And, you know, he's talking about his romantic dream, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's more like his,
You know, dramatic and all that, you know?
yeah.
Romantic in the Shakespearean sense, and that, you know, it makes a wonderful scene, a backdrop
Yeah.
on a stage.
Romana Clef, as opposed to, yes,
It's like when I was,
yes,
it's like
take
when
me,
I was a little
Ultimecia.
kid. It's like when I was a little kid and I thought kosher only meant no pork. And then I discovered kosher salt. And I was like, what, there's salt with bacon in it? Wait, I know people who would go for that.
I mean, yeah.
They,
Having
yeah,
actually
they have
seen
made bacon salt. So.
Yeah, having seen bacon salts, you know, marketed.
Bacon gum. I saw that on ThinkGeek.
Yeah, this is why the internet needs to be stopped. I say that with all due affection and everything, but really, internet, we need to have an intervention about you and your desire to suck up the belly of pigs.
We are not the people to talk people out of an obsession with something's belly.
Granted, but I'm just saying, like, when it gets to the point of being like, bacon gum, bacon personal lubricant, and it's like, no, stop. Just sit down and think about what you've done.
Oh, bacon personal lubricant for when you really want them to squeal like a pig.
At any rate,
Sorry, it was there.
I know. I'm the one who brought it up. I'm the one who basically destroys the family-friendly rating of this stream every day or every week.
We
but
have a rating. What, does that mean I shouldn't be saying fuck so much?
Actually, I'm pretty sure I marked myself as not safe for minors. So I mean, go ahead and say it. I mean, considering how much I say it, especially at the Coliseum.
Just checking.
But it just. Yeah, I'm reasonably certain that even Twitch will complain if I start, like, straight up describing sex acts on it. Anyway.
That reminds me, I made my friends incredibly uncomfortable because I brought up that story about the, I had a weird thought today after I brought up the story about the guys who complained that I was too gay to be working around children back when I worked at the mini golf place.
Oh dear.
And for a second my mind just went, too gay? Does that mean there's an acceptable level of gay? Where's the line? Show tunes? Being fabulous? Specific sex acts? If I'm a top or a bottom, am I excluded?
Oh shoot, what's the name of that one actor? I think, like, the male friend from My Best Friend's Wedding, that's about the level of gay they're expecting. Rupert what's-his-face.
Yeah, the kind of gay where they're not afraid you're going to hit on them.
Yeah, like, if you're that guy from that one Key and Peele sketch, then yeah, I'd probably back off.
I have a buzz cut, so I think I'm pretty safe, Dick.
Neil Patrick Harris is okay.
I am out like Neil Patrick Harris. I can't deal with this anymore. I'm out. Oh, fuck the Will and Grace guy.
No, not Jack. Not Jack, never Jack.
When I first came out, my sister was afraid that my life was going to be nothing but behaving like that. What I call Hollywood homosexual. You know, she expected suddenly she wasn't going to hear about anything but the kind of shit Jack would talk about. And I'm like, no, fuck no, I hate Jack. I don't watch that show for just that reason.
Yeah, that's been the problem I've been running into, is that, you know, a lot of TV shows have just kind of fallen back on the mincing, prancing stereotype, and I'm like, over here, like, I mean, yes, I bake, but...
My favorite joke is I have a friend named Draco, and he's really into wrestling, and he remembers one of his hetero friends going like, "Wait, you're gay, but you like wrestling?" And he just decided to completely fuck with the guy, and was like, "Yeah, you know, guys in tight clothing grappling each other for my entertainment. What's not to love?" And let's face it, wrestling really is a soap opera for men.
Yeah. See, admittedly, this is bringing up awkward memory from college.
I'm really good at that lately.
So, how do I even put this? So, in my sophomore year of college, I was actually in a martial arts class with Tigna. That's how the two of us met.
Mm-hmm.
He is a nice guy. Really awesome. He is straight, I will say that right here. Which made it really awkward when I came out to one of my roommates at the time. And the roommate was like, "Oh yeah, I've suspected for a while." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And he was like, "Yeah, like, every weekend you know, show up or tell us you were going out to do grappling practice with Tigna." I'm like, "What? No!"
It's judo, you.
It's judo, you butt! and so yeah, it was just like...
I have this horrible joke because I used to live with these two other guys, and I actually became really good friends with one guy's mom. But she did the thing where, you know, she had kids and then she realized she was a lesbian or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And she just said when she saw me, like, at the time, I was saying I was bi because I thought that was somehow better than being gay because I was still into girls. And she's like, the second I saw you, I knew you were gay. She's like, "I have super gaydar." And I'm like, "Super gaydar? What's that like?" And I can just imagine her walking down the street. She's like, straight, gay, lesbian, celibate, wanks it. Ew.
See, super gaydar just makes me imagine, like, you know, worst superpower ever. He's showed up to save the day! That criminal is a homosexual! What?!
Not that helpful. Unless you drop him in the middle of one of those, you know, one of those
conversion camps or something, or
people, and he just goes, "Yeah, you, and you might as well, like, run now before these people lynch you."
Anyway.
No, I saw this other comic strip that was really funny, and it just had a sailor standing at the bow of his ship, and it was like, with all their machines down, they had nothing left to go on but Steve's gaydar. San Francisco, 500 nautical miles due east.
Yeah, admittedly, so Tigna mentions the lavender belt, and that was, so we, back in the day, he was telling me about, I'm trying to remember the name of the super group he had come up with. Yeah, it was just kind of the people with the not terribly useful abilities, like Morbidly Morbid Girl. And as a joke, I threw...
Yeah. Finding a missing semicolon in 3,000 lines of text. My superpower is the ability to find every punctuation error I made only after I've posted the story to FA.
Super buddies, that's what it was. Because I threw in... You know, I suggested a character of my own, the fantastic Lavender Belt. You know, a martial artist who also happened to sound like an extremely poncy British nobleman. And so, of course, most of his actual martial arts moves were not terribly impressive. Now I hit you with my jab!
I'm sorry, you mentioned Poncy British guy, and I went straight to Ego from Street Fighter. The guy who fights with a pair of Eskrima sticks. That guy is classy as fuck, but all his moves have British names like Manchester Gold and all that.
See, like, on the bright side, at least it didn't go to Barrett. Oh gosh, I will never live Final Fantasy VII down.
I still love that. Someone told me if you could have one superpower that had like no use in stopping crime, what would it be? I said I'd be an omniglot. I would be able to understand any language after hearing it for a very short time.
Nice.
Because of this story. Okay, I was on my way home from the anime convention here when it was still being held at the university. So there's me and a bunch of other people. I don't know them, but they're dragging their cosplays along, and there are these two girls talking and giggling in another language. And this old man just comes over to them and says something to them in their language, and they immediately clam up and like get off the bus 2 stops later. And I had to ask him, and I said, "What did you say to them?" And he said, "They were talking smack about the people in costumes back there. So I told them to watch their mouth or I'd start translating."
Oh. Very nice.
I would love to be able to pull that on people because I think it is the rudest thing in the world to use a language barrier to be an asshole.
Oh, yeah. I've had a number of buddies who, went on proselyting missions, church stuff to other countries.
Yeah, what do they call that 2-year mission of theirs?
No, it's usually just, called a mission, but it's like proselytizing, I guess is the technical term, preaching.
Yeah,
but
I thought there was an official name for it.
Okay. Yeah, it and they undergo some pretty intensive language training before they go out there. And I've heard a number of stories where it's just kind of like, sitting on the bus, hearing a couple of old or young ladies, chattering in their own language about, oh my gosh, look at that foreign hottie over there, sort of a thing. And then just as they're getting up to get, and as they're getting up to get off the bus, just thanking them in their language, and quietly enjoying the looks of horror and embarrassment on their faces.
Usually it's people talking smack.
Admittedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. 12 to 18 weeks, 16 hours a day, and like full immersion kind of training. On top of that.
I remember seeing this story. I can't remember what it was, but it was a dude on his mission, and he said it was the beginning of his mission, and he stopped some guy from trying to be a pickpocket or whatever, and he was trying to be aggressive. The problem is he didn't know, he only knew like a couple of things in whatever language he was speaking. He was there for, because he had just started his training.
Yeah.
And he's like, I yelled the most aggressive thing I could think of, which literally translated to "these bananas are too expensive."
Nice.
You play the cards you got.
Yeah, gosh, what was the, had a friend who kind of got sick of got sick of a friend of his being, like, way too stuck up about languages and things like that, or whatever it was. And the, friend was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get to travel to Japan sometime soon." And so this guy's like, "Well, you do know how to ask how to get to the bathroom, right?" No? Can you tell me that? He's like, "Sure, it's Ohayo gozaimasu."
That's not it.
Those of you watching at home, of course, Ohayo gozaimasu means a very polite good morning. So, of course, Mostly just he wanted to see what would happen if the guy actually did, travel to Japan, have to go to the bathroom, and start, like, approaching people like, "Ohayou gozaimasu! Good morning! Good morning!" in, like, increasingly desperate tones.
It's like, what was it? Some of the weird stuff I heard when I used to read Outpost 9, which was some guy's experiences as a JET.
Mm.
Like the girl he accidentally taught to say breasts.
Oops.
Whenever he needed to focus on something, she would just appear, make eye contact, shout breasts, and he's always gone when he looks up again. And then there was his Concho sense.
Oh, right.
And playing games of Dodge Dick.
Yeah, see, it doesn't help that one of the Japanese ways of saying breasts kind of sounds like a cheer.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, bye! It's
and
like...
What was it?
I don't know.
remember when the kids were trying to describe sex in English, asking him if he was a cherry boy, and he didn't know what that meant, so they asked him if he had ever played sex.
Have you ever played sex? Yeah, the graphics were terrible.
Big black bars everywhere. Seriously.
So, let's see. Tigna says his brother used it to great advantage in Russia. Kids would say, "Hey, what's the worst thing you can say in English?" And his response, "We're missionaries. We can't tell you that." And they just kept pestering him. So after a week or so, he said, "All right, we'll tell you. It's Care Bears."
See, my aunt had...
And after that, a bunch of Russian children would see him walking on the street and say, "Hey, elders! Care Bears!" And flex their muscles like Superman.
Yeah, my aunt worked at a major tourist attraction here in Calgary, the Calgary Tower, which is a big joke now because I saw this one comedian and he's like, "I understand certain things. You go out to the top of the CN Tower, you stand there and you go, wow, what if you go to the top of the Calgary Tower, you stand on their thing and you go, wow. I wonder how the city looks from that office up there." But she had people she had to bust for teaching people offensive things in the guise of helpful things. And,
oh dear.
One time I got to save her butt because I had been taking Spanish. I don't remember any Spanish. It's because of her, the only Spanish I can say without thinking about it is offensive. Because she kept saying two important words in it in a French way and constantly getting me to correct her. So after 3 years, the only thing I can say without having to think about it is eat shit and die.
Well.
Yeah, but she had a person come in with a bunch of Spanish tourists and shit. And the admission fee to go up the tower at the time was like $3.95. And this guy was taking like $8 from each person. So she rung me up really quick and asked me how to say $3.95 in Spanish, and I was a little stunned. I'm just like, oh, okay, $3.95. And she's like, thank you, and hung up, and I didn't get to hear the story until later, but she said $3.95, and the tour guide just hauled off on her ass for getting busted, of course. And she found out a couple of days later that people complained, they've let the guy go, and they were so happy for her honesty that they wanted to put the dome on more tours. I mean, the tower.
Hey, nice.
I worked at the dome. She worked at the tower.
Ah, right.
Yeah. Oh,
impressive.
I worked at the tower for like special events. Like I worked in New Year's once where they were going to carry a piano in pieces up the stairs for charity. Yeah, 700 stairs. There is a charity run once a year here in Calgary where you will run 5 kilometers and then climb the stairs. And I'm just like, oh god,
what the hell, Canada?
How much am I making for this? There is literally I can't remember what female-centric charity it's for, but men do a 5K run in heels. the walk a mile in her shoes charity.
Well, okay then.
Hey, whatever works. I mean, like, I would almost do that if I didn't have bad feet. But if I was going to do that, I would want the gaudiest pair of shoes in the known universe to do that job in.
Just go ahead and do like straight up full on spectacular drag at that point.
Someone get me in touch with a drag queen, and I'm like, I want people to forget my face because they're staring at my shoes. Okay. Just if you're going to do something for charity, go whole hog.
Yeah. It is admittedly kind of a fun little bit of trivia. High-heeled shoes actually started off as menswear.
Yeah, for butchers.
Horse archers. So that you could stand up and fire and your feet would stay in the stirrups.
Okay,
and then eventually it sort of turned into men's fashion because it made them look taller and more imposing, and then someone was like, eventually, hey, check out what that does to your calves. I wonder if women could wear that. Something like that. Whee!
Oh, thank God. That's a relief.
What's that?
Scotty's grandfather had to go in for surgery. He's apparently out and recovering now.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah. It was like extremely short notice, so he was nervous as hell. Putting on a brave face. So.
Yeah, I'd imagine. And now let's see if I can remember where the famous shurikens were sold.
And what was it? I'm a big fan of the squad clowns list, and one of them is, I will not teach people rude phrases in Albanian under the guise of teaching them useful phrases in Albanian. See if I can find that. That might be good for a temporary laugh.
It does remind me of a story someone from my parents' congregation used to tell. Mostly as far as language issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Romania that she spent some time in, and it was Bulgaria. That's what it was.
One of the areas.
She discovered to her chagrin that the word for artist sounded very much like a word for something very different. And just, was highly embarrassed when she realized she had been telling people, for weeks, that her mother was a refrigerator.
Oh, God. That's like the time I lied to one of the kids in my Spanish class. At the time, a quesadilla was not very well known. And he couldn't remember the word. And he was one of those kids who thought he was going to get an easy A in Spanish because his parents came from a Latin American country. But he didn't know any. He just assumed easy A. So I lied to him. And I told him it was camiseta. So when it was time for him to place his order in his kit, he ordered a deep fried sweater. And I got a little chewing out from the teacher after he stopped laughing. Yeah, Mr. Lopez was fucking awesome. We got ahead in class. He's like, you guys are a full class ahead of my curriculum. I will teach you anything you want. And he kept to his word. He taught us all the offensive words we could come up with.
Oh
yeah, Tigna. I remember
Embarazado.
That one with Bic pens.
Not just Bic pens, but there is a great story to go with that one. Embarazado, pregnant.
Yeah.
So and this was from an old roommate of mine, who he served a Spanish-speaking mission, and one of the young women who also served in that area, the bishop came up and asked her to...
Tigna.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry.
Sister Missionary saying that the bishop has embarrassed me. It, basically because, yeah, it's like, bishop asks them to get up and speak to the congregation, just kind of like give a, introduction, get to know you, maybe, bear a quick, a brief testimony of your faith and everything like that. And then, she gets up in front of the congregation. It's like, I am so very pregnant right now, and it's all the bishop's fault. Awkward.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I needed that. I just have that story about the Bic pens and the Chevy Nova.
Yeah.
How it failed.
Or the, let's see, Ford Pinto?
Ford what?
Pinto?
Ooh.
Which,
that's a little close.
Yeah. Then there was, oh shoot, what was the one? I used to have a list of these, where it was things like, Pepsi used to have the slogan, "Come alive with the Pepsi generation," which in China they translated very badly, and it became instead, "Pepsi will bring your ancestors back from the dead."
What? How do you even?
Generation Come Alive. Something happened very badly there.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Similarly, Finger Lickin' Good, the old KFC slogan, became instead, "Eat your fingers."
Alrighty then.
Then there's an apocryphal one, or at least it turns out it's not a true story, but it was a fun one while it lasted, that Coca-Cola, when Coca-Cola entered the Chinese market, they went for a phonetic similarity and wound up with Bite the Wax Tadpole as the name of their soda.
Okay.
It turns out that's not actually true, but, Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of close.
Yeah.
Okay,
Electrolux back...
it.
What?
Skippy's List. It's very famous. The 213 things Skippy is no longer allowed to do in the U.S. Army.
Oh dear.
Yeah, this is where I got the bit about the rude Albanian phrases. So give me a sec here. I'm just going to read the good ones. There's only about 200, so I can't read every last one. Let's see.
Join us next week when I grind on Final Fantasy VI and read off the entirety of Mr. Welch's list.
Ooh, I would do that for you. I really would. That's what you wanted. Because I was going to go looking for that next. But let's see. Number 2, my proper military title is Specialist Schwartz, not Princess Anastasia. Number 3, not allowed to threaten anyone with black magic. Number 4, not allowed to challenge anyone's disbelief of black magic by asking for some of their hair.
Oh dear.
Not allowed to play Pulp Fiction with a suction cup dart pistol and any fellow officer. Not allowed to add in accordance with the prophecy to the end of answers I give to a question an officer asks me. Not allowed to add pictures of superior officers I don't like to war criminal posters. Not allowed to purchase anyone's soul on government time.
Off time, however, feel free.
Yeah. Not allowed out of my office whatsoever when the president visited Sarajevo.
Oh dear.
Must get a haircut even if it tampers with my Samson-like powers. God may not contradict any of my orders.
Yeah.
May not call any officers immoral, untrustworthy, lying slime, even if I'm right.
Ouch.
Must never ask anyone who outranks me if they've been smoking crack.
Dang.
Yeah.
That must have been a story.
Don't tell Princess Di jokes in front of the British Airborne.
Ooh.
Yeah. Don't take the batteries out of other soldiers' alarm clocks, even if they do hit snooze about 50 times.
Gosh, what was the thing from the Mr. Welch's list of not allowed to short sheet the bedrolls of impotent deities?
Yeah. The Irish MPs are not after me frosted Lucky Charms.
Oh my gosh!
Not allowed to let sock puppets take responsibility for any of my actions.
See, and the Lucky Charms thing is only reminding me of the scene from Austin Powers.
Ooh. It's a television commercial with the cartoon leprechaun, and all the kids are trying to chase him. Hey, leprechaun, go to get your Lucky Charms. There's a bit of marshmallow stuck right in the cereal, so when the kids eat it, they're like, "Ooh, this is candy, I'm having fun." You just heard probably the best impression I will ever do. Just, let's see. Not allowed to chew gum in formation unless I brought enough for everybody. Next day, not allowed to chew gum in formation even if I brought enough for everybody. Literally at the end of one of these, there's a Q&A that says, "How did you get away with all this?" And it simply says, "I'm funny, so they let me live." Can't have flashbacks to wars I was not in.
You're never too young for a Vietnam flashback.
The Spanish-American War isn't over. Our medic is called Sergeant Larwassa, not Dr. Feelgood.
Oh my gosh.
Our supply sergeant is Sergeant Watkins, not Sugar Daddy.
Oh gosh, what was
Not allowed to ask for the day off due to religious purposes on the basis that the world is going to end more than once.
Well, what was the, it was from Mr. Welch's list, where it was talking about, you know, our monk's title is Brother of the Order of the Lotus, not the Slap Happy Jappy. Or also, you know, was, my monk's mouth must be in sync with his speech.
Yeah. My monk's battle cry is not "Round 1, fight."
My rogue's battle cry is not "You take care of the orcs, I'll take care of the traps."
Nor is it "Run and live."
My paladin's heraldry cannot just be a smiley face. My anti-paladin's heraldry cannot just be Mr. Yuck.
Yeah. My nipples are not holy symbols.
Says you. No.
The barbarian's name does not translate to "screams like little sissy girl" in my language. Let's see. Where was I? I am not the atheist chaplain. I am not allowed to go to Rag Boulevard and shake Daddy's little moneymaker for 20 stuffed into my undies.
Sweet jeepers.
I may not use public masturbation as a tool to demonstrate a flaw in a command decision. Yeah, I don't want to know either. I am not a citizen of, quote, Texas and those other 49 lesser states.
Oh, I used to have roommates from Texas. They were
Not
like
allowed
that.
to yell "Take that, Cobra" at the rifle range. Not allowed to quote Full Metal Jacket anywhere for any reason. The following words and phrases may not be used in a military cadence: budding sexuality, necrophilia, I hate everyone in this formation and wish they were dead, sexual lubricant, Black Earth Mother, all Marines are latent homosexuals, tantric yoga, Goddardamarum, Korean hooker, Eskimo now, we've all got jackboots now, slut puppy, or any references to squid. I can't believe the list got that long before they took them off saying the cadence.
That reminds me of, guy in one of my gaming groups
Mhm.
who got banned from using any of these, or any combination of the following 4 words. Lawful, good, gnome, necromancer.
Ew. Though I have seen an example of that in media.
So in his case, what he would...
Gnome part.
Well, what the gnome would do is he would, after they had defeated and killed any bad guys, he would raise their corpses, use gnomish illusion magic to make them look like happy clowns, and use them to put on performances for children to work off their bad karma.
That is not lawful good.
He felt it was perfectly lawful good, and that was why he kept doing it.
Ooh.
And also why the paladin was so frustrated, because he kept detecting lawful good from the gnome necromancer, and he couldn't figure out why the gnome's theater troupe kept growing.
Ooh. It is better to beg forgiveness than to ask permission no longer applies to Specialist Schwartz.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. There are no evil clowns living under my bed.
Yet.
Yeah. I may not line my helmet with tinfoil to block out the space mind control lasers. I must not flaunt my deviancies in front of my chain of command.
Flaunt my deviancies. That...
Very next item, may not wear gimp mask while on duty.
Well.
Inflatable novelties do not entitle me to BAQ or separation pay. Yeah. The MP checkpoint is not an Imperial Stormtrooper roadblock, so I should stop telling them you don't need to see my identification, these are not the droids you're looking for.
Uh-oh.
I may not call block my chain of command. If the thought of something makes me giggle for longer than 15 seconds, I am to automatically assume that I am not allowed to do it. Nerve gas is not funny. Crucifixes do not ward off superior officers, and I should stop testing that. The proper response to a chemical weapon attack is not to tell my chain of command what I really think about them and then poke holes in their masks.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What was the... Yeah. Good player choices. Make the DM stop for a moment and consider the ramifications of what they've chosen to do. Regular player choices. Make the DM stop and roll for sanity loss. His own.
There is absolutely no need to emulate the people from the Full Monty every time I hear the song Hot Stuff.
Oh dear.
I should not speculate on the penis size of anyone who outranks me.
Well, that's terrifying. Guards
Radioactive material should not be stored in the barracks.
Well, then where does it go? Well, it's the,
Spadoinkle is not a real word.
Well, it was, really old comic back in, like, the 80s or so.
Beetle Bailey?
Bloom County.
Hmm.
And at one point, this little genius kid shows up to class and it's like, so, what did you bring for show and tell? Oh, I brought a fully working atomic bomb. What? That's obviously just a plaything, right? Oh, no, man. Boom. Where did you even get the radioactive material? I scraped the glowing stuff out of 38,000 old Rolex watches. Followed by, okay, class, fire drill! Oh, cool your jets, I've got the safety on.
I'm drunk is a bad answer to any question posed by my commanding officer. Oh god. Okay. The loudspeaker system is not a forum to voice my ideas. The loudspeaker system is not to be used to replace the radio. The loudspeaker system is not to be used to broadcast the soundtrack to a porno movie. Should not show up at the front gate wearing part of a Russian uniform messily drunk, even if my commanding officer did it 2 weeks prior.
Oh dear.
Calvin Ball is not authorized PT. I should not drink 3 quarts of blue food coloring before a urine test.
Oh, for...
Nor should I drink 3 quarts of red food coloring and scream during the same. Yeah, am I breaking your brain here?
Only slightly.
Putting red Mike and Ike's into a prescription medicine bottle and then downing them all in formation is not funny.
Oh dear.
On sports day PT, a wedgie is not considered a legal tackle. The proper way to report to my commanding officer is Specialist Schwartz reporting as ordered, sir, not, you can't prove a damn thing. I will no longer perform lap dances while in uniform. If I take the uniform off in the course of the lap dance, it still counts.
Well...
Past lives have absolutely no effect on the chain of command.
Okay, I think I've hit my limit. Thank you, though.
One more 4 simple words. Take that hat off.
Anyway.
Okay, I'll stop now.
Sorry, I'm just like... It's okay, I do kind of start to glaze over when I'm like 50 or so into the Mr. Welch's list too. And that's when I'm reading them.
Yeah. Oh my god, the last time I checked, this thing was only at 2,200 items. Now it's at 2,500.
Oh, Mr. Welch has done more?
Yeah, he's up to 2,500 things.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can jump right to the end, like the very last set, and we'll only go through that because we all know the first 2,000.
Even if the rules allow it, I may not summon 50,000 blue whales.
I will stop trying to intimidate the other wizard by summoning bigger what he just summoned.
Or, oh gosh, what was... I will not sell that creepy dude's always naked elf chick character to every single passing band merchants. Before battling a dragon, not allowed to glaze the elf.
Elf. Any gun whose damage is best described in scientific notation is vetoed.
Yeah. Oh gosh, what was... I am to remember that timber is not an elven delicacy. I am also to remember that rocks are not a dwarven delicacy. Polka gnomes exist only in my mind.
No taunting Darth Maul with the fact that Uncle Owen had more lines, more screen time, and a more memorable death.
Ouch.
Yeah. When I will make sure when the GM asks what my fetish is, he means the voodoo bag, not brunettes with short hair.
Oh, you meant the gree-gree. Sorry,
while extremely cool, my superhero needs something more than just a gun that fires badgers at people.
Oh gosh, what was what was the thing from Zero Punctuation where he talks about, like, I mean, who really needs anything else when you've got a gun that shoots shurikens and lightning?
You could only be more awesome if it had tits and was on fire.
I think those two kind of cancel each other out.
Yeah. Even if the elf fails his willpower check, we don't need to change him. Even if used correctly, branding irons do not count as non-lethal weapons.
Huh.
I will not try to bring back nipples as a superhero fashion statement.
Ah.
Even if the rules allow it, a called shot to the eyes with a sledgehammer isn't very practical.
Not allowed to make called shots to the hammer, anvil, stirrup, plectrum, or islets of Langerhans.
In the middle of a black op, I can't order 1,500 pizzas to be delivered to the target the next day.
I recall one about, like, middle of a black ops is not when you're supposed to validate parking.
Even if the kids love it, the Cone of Cold spell is not for making toboggan rides possible in August. If I ever trick the DM into telling us the only way to make money mining is to work the shaft, all my characters die. Not just in this game either.
Not allowed to base any of my characters off of the Who drummer Keith Moon.
I think that's number 1.
It's one of the first ones, yeah.
Even if it's a friendly pickup game, it's a bad idea to dunk on Vader.
Oh, what was the... Not allowed to start not allowed to start a Dark Elf character weighing more than 500 pounds. Not allowed...
Ooh, you first.
Not allowed to start the game as Pope.
Characters with a curious disadvantage are not acceptable substitutions for the Identify spell.
Ah!
If I knock out Ryu while I'm blocking, it's time to retire the character.
I've played that game. There is a Street Fighter role-playing game.
Really?
Yes, I have played it.
Do you get to make your own, or do you have to be one of them?
Oh, you get to make your own. They provide the main characters as an example of extremely powerful characters in the setting. And, you know, that odd bit of confusion from the fact that E. Honda's first name is Edmund, despite him not actually being non-Japanese.
Yeah, that still confuses people. If the GM is a woman, can't play a space otter to gain cute points. I will try to keep the number of pages the GM rips out of his playtesting binder to a minimum.
Oh, ouch.
Can't stealthily follow the villainous wizard and backstab him every time he tries to cast a spell, even if every rogue in the world does it to our wizard.
That sounds like there's some
bitterness.
Yep.
Note to self, pinata golems are a bad idea. Even if I have enough rope and attacks per round, I can't Gorata Hydra.
Oh dear. Was the my epic level characters are not allowed to just completely eradicate the minor goblin menace in the next kingdom over just to keep their skills sharp.
Snipers don't appreciate their spotters shouting, "Boom! Headshot!" Can't have a gun that can inflict lethal damage with just the bullet's wind shear. If my character's name is not an anagram, I will tell the DM before he spends 30 minutes rearranging letters. The spell is heat metal, not detect piercings.
Ah!
Yeah. Even if the corporation prefers politically correct terminology, I can't refer to an interrogation as kinetic information retrieval.
Uh-oh.
Power word sarcasm is not a real spell.
Not allowed to cast power word stun and blame it on the dog.
Remember, it's got to be a silent feat.
Ah, right. Silent feat enabled power word stun and blame it on the dog. Oh, gosh, what was, power word beer me is not a thing either.
Yeah. If I abandon the game for alone time with my fiancé, my PC dies. Ask me if I fucking care. Just because the DM prefers D&D to alone time with a smoking hot fiancé doesn't mean the party gets to question his gender preference.
Zing.
Horned dog is not a real dwarven caste.
Oh dear. Oh, cast?
Cast, yeah. Sorry, my bad.
That's alright. I was like... For a moment I was there like, foreign dog is not a dwarven taste, and I'm like, wait, what? Why would they...
I never remembered how to say that word right.
It's alright, I just had this brief moment of like, why are they cooking other people's dogs? And, oh, there's a knock at the door. Hello? Oh. Yes, there is a dog. Oh, as I step on my own headphone cords. Oh. Hey, Shiro. Aww. Silly puppy. There was a puppy at the door.
If I have to buy a second warehouse to store all my spare magic weapons, it's time to retire the character. Are you on puppy watch again?
Well, in about a half hour or so. Yeah, after I end the stream.
Yeah.
It's just that, you know, they're awake now, and the puppy wanted to say hello.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea why, considering I drive him. I torment the poor thing half the time, but...
Can't trick the dragon into swallowing a shrunken dire porcupine and then end the spell mid-swallow.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's nasty.
What was the, you know, the lich can only be tricked into the bag of holding once.
Yeah. Even if he is lawful evil, the villain isn't going to respond to a jury summon. Yeah, that's what I thought, Ziggy. I'm like, okay, that's clever. I will not buy skills for weapons that don't exist in my setting yet.
I'd like to put 20 points into laser pistols.
Elves do not squirt ink out of their nipples defense mechanism. They also do not secrete a foul-tasting oil when threatened.
My gosh!
No re-gifting cursed items at Christmas.
Oh, come on! That's like half the fun!
Yeah.
You've never been to a white elephant gift party? You know. Although that was how we wound up with, oh gosh, what was... Triscuits, that's what it was. We wound up with Triscuits as a euphemism in the local furry group for a while, thanks to white elephant gift thing.
I will refer to the creepy player's sidekick by her name and not just your make-believe Chinese lesbian girlfriend.
Ouch.
Before resorting to burlesque, we will explore all other options on how to sneak past that security camera.
Oh gosh. I'm just imagining the security, you know, some security officer sitting in the monitoring room, and then you just see like 4 people doing the can-can in frilly dresses.
You can't critically hit with a nuclear weapon.
I would argue that in fact all you can do is critically hit with a nuclear weapon.
Truth. If the game retcons my character's god, I will not start the orthodox faith of the old version of the god. Wishes have no effect on errata.
Ha! Yeah, when you use a 9th level spell to break the 4th wall, all bets are off. We've been marching in circles in this sandpit for an hour. I want to kill more cactuses.
The fur and lust domains shall never meet.
Huh?
Fuck you guys.
I would have said nature and lust, but that's just me.
Getting multiple entries in a game's first errata file is not a badge of honor.
Says you. I mean, there's
Using my...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You first.
Alright. There is something to be said for having at least 3 rules named after you on a role-playing group site.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, you were saying?
Using my animal influence ability to send countless animals on a suicide attack is fine, but not to form a chorus line.
Cut
Can't
back.
Requisition items nobody in the squad knows how to use.
See, now I'm just thinking back to, again, that officer sitting in the monitoring room as 4 characters and 20 squirrels doing the can-can in frilly dresses.
There will be no further product placement in the mission evaluation videos.
Mog learned death. All of life is meaningless, Kupo. Mortality comes for us all, Kupo.
Just you sooner.
Just Mog learned death. Kupo.
Step 1 in the party's preparation for a quest is not getting a mani-pedi. Can't reduce the difficulty of an autopsy check by skipping the put everything back where you found it step.
Oh dear. Anyway, I will never stop making that joke. It will never cease to be funny.
Plan A is not send in the Doom Reaver and wait for the screams to stop. Despite what you think, the profession dentist skill can't substitute for interrogation.
Well, of course not. Have you ever tried talking while all that stuff is in your mouth?
My werebear can't hibernate through the boring parts of the beginning.
And I mean, I say that with knowing full well that my father is a dentist. Well, it's like, so how are you doing, kiddo? What? Oh, I see.
Oh,
Yeah, I had trouble with that class too.
It reminds me of those horrible commercials a couple years ago. Your teeth look great. And I see the Colgate. Hold on. My character in an Anthro RPG is meant to be an anime furry cliche, not an escapee from Looney Tunes.
Miss who now?
No. Distract the bad guy does not mean with a called shot to his appendix.
Ah!
The second book of Gretzky appears nowhere in the Canadian Bible.
It doesn't help that I've joked about terrible versions of the Canadian national anthem. Which I'll refrain from, because I know you don't necessarily care for flagrant stereotypes.
Yeah, sorry.
It's alright. On the other hand, I do think it would be fun to at least have some sort of reference to poutine in there. I've had it once. It was good. I mean, granted, I wasn't technically in Canada, but I mean, Seattle's practically there.
Let's see. Inspire courage is a great superpower, unless you use it to get hordes of innocent bystanders to bum rush the supervillain.
Ah!
Just because they don't have rules for them, Canadians can still be companions for the Doctor. When I take watch, everybody must wake up with the same number of limbs as they went to sleep with.
But what if I'm adding limbs?
Yeah, that was my first time. I'm just like, wait, what?
I mean, these are... They all look like they could use some, I don't know, prehensile wings. Oops, stepped out of the desert.
In the middle of a Black Ops, the target's elevator music selection is limits.
Ha! I mean, I'd at least like to see something where it's, you know, swap all their elevator music out for, like, Muzak versions of death metal.
Ooh. No using every possible special rule for combat in the very first fight of the campaign.
I'm guessing there's a story behind that one.
If a conjured monster does exceptionally well in combat, I can't ask for his resume. Fuck that.
Yeah, what happened to the defeat means friendship trope?
Yeah. Defeat for me means friendship. Wow.
Wait, what?
Stone the flesh spells are banned in all major art galleries.
Ah! Although that does remind me of the time I forget what it was we were facing, but I gave a villain a particularly gruesome death. They were like, okay, now what do you think you'll do? And I go, flesh to stone, rock to mud.
Ew. Oh my god.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Either that or flesh to stone. Although the alternative would be flesh to stone, soften earth and stone, then quietly reshape them into something funny and cast stone to flesh.
Cause disease doesn't let you pick the disease caused, so I can stop looking up symptoms. Even if it would be awesome in real life, I can't take immunity to bureaucracy. Christian baleful polymorph is not a real spell.
You cast the spell, they start shouting at the stagehand.
Yeah. Though there are many ways to become a god, buying a Gibson Les Paul and maxing out the perform skill isn't one of them.
Alas and alack the day. Well, we got another rogue tweaker that... Seriously, look at this guy just running. He's just like, what's this? What's this? What's this? I found a happy little tree. Grass! 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 Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! There's a rock! There's a rock! There's another rock! There's another rock! Oh my gosh! Stairs!
Okay,
anyway.
You should only have one bowl of Cocoa Puffs in the morning.
There was a Photoshop thing where someone, instead of Cocoa Puffs, it was Coca Puffs.
Oh boy.
And so they had Sonny the Cuckoo, like, twitching out, bloodshot eyes. You wake up and you get shit, you wake up and you do shit and you get shit done! Anyway,
When a dwarf in our party gets to see the surface for the first time, I shouldn't cast Levitate on him.
Behold, the surface! Aww.
The runestones did not just tell me the princess needs to get naked.
I do not get a bonus to my perform check even if my bard is very obviously wearing nothing under her tabard.
I like this. Funny you should say that right now. I remember that any use of the perform burlesque skill is going to require a full turn for my bard to get dressed again.
There is no such skill as profession ecdesiast. Those of you in the peanut gallery, ecdesiast means stripper. Anyway.
No converting to religions from other game systems. I am not trans-elven.
Oh, gosh. I mean, that depends on which Tumblr blogs you're following. But anyway. Well, as long as Mog knows death, I should remember that the slagworm is relatively vulnerable to it, so... Embrace the end of your mortal coil, Kupo!
Stop it. I am not assigning that 18 I just rolled to my necromancer's charisma.
I'm sorry, I don't know why! Just... I have no idea why that one made me laugh, but just... Although, what was the, do you know how hard it is to raise a family? Well, it's somewhat easier if they're all buried on the same plot. What?
Ugh.
What?
Even if the breakup was really bad, naming my ex as my ranger's favorite enemy puts out a creepy stalker vibe.
Okay, yeah. What's the, my bard is not allowed to take any of the following weapons. Or is not allowed to, choose any of the following, instruments, rather. One-man band, glass harmonica, theremin, didgeridoo. As they get into battle and the bard just runs off to the side and starts...
Could be worse. It could be that guy doing the native singing in the Enya songs.
This is true.
Can't use the summon monster spell to redefine the term trolling someone.
See, now I'm just imagining, you know, Harry Potter, first movie, Professor Quirrell runs in, you know, troll in the dungeon! And they run down to the bathroom, and there's, like, some guy sitting on his laptop, like, but jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
Ugh, for shame.
And Hermione's just standing there like, what even the fuck? Which, I mean, granted, that would be a little disturbing hearing an 11-year-old girl say that, but you know, anyway.
Just because it's legal to dual-wield quarterstabs, tying two together does not give me dire nunchucks.
There we go. This actually seems to be the better grinding option compared to Dinosaur Forest. Like, Dinosaur Forest does give the option for stealing ribbons and occasionally getting Celis Triads, but... Whoa! Open your eyes! How bad is it? This isn't my blood. Is it, Clyde? Don't worry. You're gonna be okay. I'm sorry. I let my guard down. Don't talk. The town's just a bit farther. You don't have to pretend. I know. This is my blood, isn't it? I'm done for. Get going. Leave me here. I'd only slow you down. But you want to get caught? But before you go, please finish me off with your knife. How could you ask me to do something like that? You know what they'll do to me if they catch me alive. I don't want to have to go through that. Touch my arm. You feel it shaking? I've never been afraid in my life. Now I'm quivering like a little girl. Please, before I wet myself and have to die a coward, just take your knife and I can't do it! Clyde! I'm sorry. Clyde! How could you? Oh yeah, so that's the other thing. Occasionally Shadow has dreams. If you stay at the inn while he's in the party. Actually, I'm curious, see if we can have any more of those. It does kind of bring up a whole thing, basically, Shadow was originally a man named Clyde. He had a partner named Barum, or Billy, depending on the thing. The two of them were train robbers. They called themselves the Shadow Bandits. Let me see if we can get another one.
Is this like what is it? On a roll of the dice when you go to sleep?
Not entirely sure, but... Hey! Hey! Are you alright? Where am I? In a small village called Thermosa. Come on now, pull yourself together. I think we know what the name of that village originally was. Any guesses, Steve?
Thamasa.
Yes.
I mean, they didn't make it too hard.
Right. Now, who do we know who comes from Thamasa?
I forget.
Two of them, in fact.
Oh,
Strago and Rel.
I heard rumors to that effect.
So,
Couldn't remember whether or not it was actually proven.
shoot, I think we need Strago in the party for the last one. Let's see here. Well, on the bright side, Mog has finished leveling up his stuff, so... Let's just take off his most useful equipment. Okay. You need to rescue Shadow for the last one. I mean, Shadow is in the party. Setzer, Lock, Shadow, Strago. See if that does the trick. Here we go. Ah. Yeah, I got him out of the cave in the veldt. That's why he's in the party. At any rate, if it doesn't show up, there is one last dream that shows Clyde departing from Thamasa, leaving his newborn daughter. Let's beat the crap out of something and see if that helps.
Always good for my mood. Let's see.
Let's see here. This does the trick.
Ooh.
Nope.
You can only make so many called shots to the groin until it's an alignment check.
Actually, Strago, how are you on... Oh. You're actually quite well set up for that then. Okay. Well, let's, swap him out for someone else who needs leveling then. Oh yeah, someone was curious about, oh, Ziggy, it was you who were curious about, Sabin and whether he gets... Alright! Let's do this! So at least it's not him just going, right! Anymore. Let's put in Cayenne for a bit.
Every time the cat girl fails a skill check, I won't spritz her with a water bottle as punishment. Can't bribe a dragon with belly rubs.
So you say.
4chan does not cause more sanity loss. Even if the entire party is in total agreement, we aren't stopping the game to call the writer and correct his history on our state. I will keep the amount of sexual innuendo to a minimum in my auto report.
Oh dear.
Even if I sew them into a serape, I can't wear 2 magical capes at once. The control water spell may not be used for spontaneous wet t-shirt contests.
Oh my. Now that I think about it, I think it's something like the number of battles that you've had Shadow in the party for. Which might explain why we haven't had, or we can't get that last one to show up, but So, Setzer, just keep chucking dice at everyone until something happens.
Just because they can't be the target of a raise dead spell doesn't mean elves have no soul.
How did that... But... I shouldn't ask.
When challenging death to a game, being the DM for paranoia doesn't grant me immortality.
Speed is pretty high. Maybe I should swap him over to stamina for a bit. Or... Actually, let's go ahead and start raising his magic for the heck of it. Here we are, Valley Garmanda. Speaking of... Status screen, oh my gosh, how am I this bad? Anyway, so he's working on his stamina, which is now 50s. That's... Actually, Locke is pretty terrifying currently. Good on him.
When looking for a template to make a creature deadlier, Australian is not a legitimate choice. give a shout out in a ransom note.
Well, then what's the point?
I can't save points on learning a new language by just learning the profanities.
Well...
Our posse can't resemble an 80s British hair metal band without good explanation.
What if that explanation is, screw it, we're awesome?
Yeah, true enough. Yes, they are the perfect solution to all our Deep One problems. No, we still can't have depth charges.
Let's see if we can get that last dream.
You cannot teach a parrot power word kill.
Ah!
I am required to tell the DM if the secret villain of the adventure is revealed on the back synopsis of the module screen.
Oops.
That's like, what is the one from the rest of the list? I must remind my GM I can raise dead before he hosts any more murder mysteries.
I'm just going to take a moment and bring up the browser, see if we can find something about Shadow here.
Even if she is a soul-sucking creature of unholy darkness, the cleric can't turn my axe.
Dang. Okay, character from Final Fantasy VI. Kill his best friend for the right price, slit his mama's throat for a nickel. Story, blah blah blah, spoilers.
Not allowed to see if it's possible to drown someone in a barrel full of healing potions.
Oh, let's see here. Nightmares during the night.
I cannot use cure disease to absolve another player's character of mental disabilities.
Oh dear.
Specifically, narcissistic personality disorder. Not starting the adventure until we have at least one elf party is not Tolkienism.
There we go. Okay, so back to what we were doing. There is one nightmare remaining, I just have to actually get it to show up. Although according to this, Shadow and Realm's relationship was officially confirmed in developers' interviews in 1995. The developers considered having a scene in a bar, presumably in Thamasa, where Strago asks Shadow to reveal his identity. Dialogue was supposed to be as follows. Strago says, "I have one request. Show me your face. Even if you are him, I have no intention of wasting time trying to talk you into staying. I just want to know, for Realm's sake." Shadow takes off his mask and shows Strago his face. However, his back is turned so that the player can't see. Strago then says, "Thank you. Shadow, come, let's have a drink." So yeah,
If the storyteller gives me a drama die at about 60 miles per hour aimed at my face, it's not a compliment.
that was the, we should use D20s to determine damage here, right? Wait, what do you... Proceeds to pelt the other guy with D20s. D20 attack! I am the Dice Master!
If I'm told to loop the feed for the video camera, they didn't mean with hardcore porn. No leaving the future god of strife tied to a tree just because he's annoying. No narrating our after-battle reports in Jacques Cousteau's voice.
See, admittedly, my brain has now gone back to that poor, suffering security officer in the monitoring room. Except now it's an endless loop of 4 burlesque dancers and a row of squirrels doing the can-can past the camera.
Oh lord, when you get an image in your head. Viking rites of succession generally don't have a swimsuit portion.
They should.
The same can't be said about Viking beauty pageants in their trial by combat segment.
Oh, come on!
I will not cause the GM to break down crying because his new game is seriously flawed and unplayable until after character generation.
Ouch. Okay, what if I put... This is seriously going to bother me.
Life is pain, Kupo.
Change party members. Shadow, Strago, Realm, and... Yeah, go.
Detect cliche is not a real spell. And the very last one, any argument with my ex will be done verbally in person, not across the battlefield in semaphore.
Son of a gun! Okay, so I can't seem to get this final nightmare to show up, but basically what happens is... Clyde goes to depart from Thamasa, is stopped... let's see here. You know, Clyde walking away from Strago's home, Interceptor runs up behind him, and he tells the dog, basically, stay with my daughter. And then he goes, leaves the village, but then Interceptor runs to follow him anyway.
Good dog or bad dog?
you, and you. Okay, so that's just, well, that's where we are. This is about the time for me to, end the, stream for the evening. I will continue grinding. Hopefully sometime soon I'll actually do, like, the end game stuff. I am so sorry for holding it out this long. Thank you all for,
Hey, you
watching.
need to be prepped for this.
What?
You need to be prepped for this, and I know it.
I have spent so much time grinding, and it's still not enough. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I'll be back next week. I'm Simon the Shepherd.
Oh, and I'm Deep No Beast.
There you are. And this has been Gaming with Dog. Have a great night,
Good
everyone.
night.